Glasses, whee! Can't see without them right now. Hey everyone, it's Riley. As you can tell, this is kinda a lazy day. This is my 6th vlog. Wow, I've already made it through 6 vlogs. That's freaking fantastic. What's been going on with me lately is just a lot of school and a lot of being at my host parents' house. I have school on Monday through Friday, and my days are long and then they get shorter at the end of the week. But fun thing about last week, I kind of broke down a little bit. I was really tired and I was trying to talk with my host mom and I didn't remember the word for crazy, which is verrückt. And she was like, I told you this yesterday, you should have remembered this. So that was kind of frustrating for me because it was the end of the week and I was really tired, so the fact that I was still trying with German was really impressive for me. But then she seemed kind of disappointed with me about that, and so I kind of went up to my room like a little while later so I wouldn't be rude, and kind of was getting down on myself a little bit. And the sound had momentarily come back for a few days in my dreams at night, because for I think 2 weeks I lost sound in my dreams, and then it came back in half German, half English, and I was so excited because I was like, yay, I'm learning the language. But I honestly am just like stuck at this wall right now, and it's so hard to jump over it because I study and I study and I study and I talk with people at school, but it's so hard trying to learn those new words because I've learned all of the words I've learned the important words that sound like English words. So now I'm learning the things that are really obscure and just are going to be really hard to figure out for me. So that is a little bit frustrating, and I texted one of my friends who was on exchange last year, and he kind of helped me through that. He just told me when I was starting this experience, they told us the first 3 months are the hardest. And he kind of told me that it's the first 5 to 6 months, which scared the crap out of me because I don't want to be frustrated all the time. I don't like being frustrated. I would much rather be happy and not come home and kind of have to like bash on myself all the time for not being able to keep up in school and not being able to take the notes and having the only class I know be English. So that kind of sucked a little bit, but 2 days later, I think, went to my friend Lindsay's house. She lives in Egg, and she gave me a tour of Egg. It's, I think, 7,000 people in the town, super small. It's adorable. Love that town. But I like Dornbirn. I like this, more of a city feel. And at night, Lindsay has gotten her care package, so we ate peanut butter, Twizzlers, lots of chocolate, lots of sugary sweets, because both of us have lost weight on our exchange, so we're not too concerned with gaining weight off of one night of eating. Fun fact, in Austria, and I'm pretty sure most of Europe, they do not have cheddar cheese. So Lindsay had her parents send her a block of Wisconsin cheddar cheese. We sat down at her table when she was cutting the first piece, and we both sat there and ate the first piece that we got since for 2 months. We both took a bite and we're both just sat there and we're like, oh my god, this is so good. And it was like eating heaven. If you are like me and you come from a place that has super good Tillamook cheese, which that's what it's called for us, Tillamook cheese, but if you come from a place that has super good cheddar cheese, and then you are just cut off from it, from the only cheese you've ever really eaten for 2 months, your body kind of starts freaking out a little bit. We made grilled cheese sandwiches, and we watched a bunch of random movies on Netflix, which was great, and we were just talking and kind of like venting about taking 5 years of German. So her schoolmates aren't really talking with her and they're not explaining anything to her. Whereas at my school, I'm frustrated because half the time they speak English, half the time they speak German. So I never know what to speak with them. I never know, because some days they'll speak mostly English and some days they'll speak mostly German. So I never know if I should just always respond in German, or when they talk in German, I should respond in German, and when they speak in English, I should speak in English back. That's really confusing, and I think the most frustrating moment for me was last week in my history class. My history teacher was handing out papers, and in every other class, I've been given the paperwork, I've been given the notes, I'm treated like any other student. But for the first time, I really felt like an exchange student, and it wasn't a good exchange student feeling. It was the feeling of I'm not good enough, because she looked at me with the papers in her hand, smiled, and then gave them to the people next to me and walked away from me without giving me the paperwork. So I just kind of sat there doodling all class. I feel like it's silly for me to be sitting in class just doodling in a notebook for hours. That was just so frustrating for me. Yes, I don't understand the language fully yet, but I caught about half of what she said, and I can't tell you what it is in English, but the German part of my brain that's starting to switch over to German understood it. I don't know. I'm gonna talk with her. I don't know. I'm gonna talk with her, and we'll see how things go. But, language barrier, that's sucking. I feel like I'm getting really close to my host family, and I feel like I'm definitely part of the family, but there's always that little bit of a wall between us that I feel like I can't really be like open and personal with them, because there's just something always in the way, and that's me not understanding fully what they're saying and them not understanding fully what I'm saying. So that just royally sucks. And last night, my host mom helped me make my first cake here. Yay! It was just like a sugar cake, and it had fresh plums on the top. I think I had to re-ask her for the directions 5 times because she wouldn't explain anything to me in English. It was all in German. That was an experience. So if you ever are in a foreign country and you try and make a cake with someone, make sure you have at least 2 months under your belt, because I've been here for a few days over 2 months and I was still struggling. Besides whatever bad things have happened, I mean, they're not really bad. They're just obstacles that I know are there, no matter where you go. No matter if I would have even gone to Australia or Canada or New England, they would have all been there, because people aren't going to treat you the same way for the first 5 or 6 months, like my friend had said. And people aren't going to accept you as much, and you're not going to feel like you belong here until you've been here for long enough, like 5 or 6 months, to have a really solid routine. I have a routine going to school now, but I've only been going to school for about 4.5 weeks. So I know that by the end of one semester at my school back in Oregon, that I feel like I'm in a routine. I think when I have a routine here like that, when it's just like, oh my god, I know what classes I have, like when I don't have to look at my schedule in the morning, when I know exactly which books to pick up in the morning, I think that is when everything is going to get easier. And I think that will take about 5 or 6 months, which that's a little bit scary. And I'm not here saying don't go on exchange. I'm not saying that. I'm not here saying that I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. I'm not going to lie, I did think that maybe I could be that exception to the rule and that my English would just disappear and I would just speak German really fast. And I didn't think it would take 3.5 months to be able to understand. I'm seeing now that that was not realistic, and that there was a lot more back home that I probably could have done to learn the language. And there was just a lot more that I could have done back home, like research for online classes that I'm probably going to have to take to keep up with school in the US. And there was just some more that I could have done on my end to not be a better exchange student. Because, not to brag, I think I'm a pretty great exchange student. I think I'm trying. I think I'm learning very fast. but I think there are some things that any person would do going into a new country that I could have done a little bit more of. As my friend Nicole said, I'll put a link to her videos down there. Exchange is not a holiday. It's not a vacation. It's not a walk in the park. It's none of that. And if people think that exchange is easy, they need to get a slap right across the face. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Being away from my family for, an entire year and being able to talk with my parents is great. When I have to go out with another family that I don't know, I know them, but with another family that hasn't known me my whole life and we're still trying to get to know each other, that's hard. It's hard introducing yourself into someone else's life. So whoever says exchange is easy needs to get a clue. It is not easy. That's my rant. I'm not trying to sound like a bitch, but it's not. And I love everything about it. I was sitting on the bus coming back from Egg, and the thought went through my head and it just put a huge smile on my face. I probably looked so weird on the bus because I was listening to my music, and then all of a sudden a huge grin came on my face because the thought went through my head that once I make it through this year and once I have my plane land back home and I see my family again and I can officially say I was a Rotary Exchange student, there is an accomplishment in that. And once I can say I am fluent in German, that is an accomplishment. And I will be able to do anything with my life. Because once you make it through a year like this, there is nothing you cannot do. There are no walls up with you anymore. You are such a different person, and I can feel it already. I am so much more confident. I am so much more open. I am so much more able to laugh at myself and laugh at my mistakes just being here for 2 months. And I think that once people can laugh at themselves and laugh at how stupid they can be sometimes, that I think that's when you start making progress in your life. And that's when you start having fun and having opportunities come up. I think when you're confident with yourself, that's when things start happening. And after a year abroad, you're that person. You're that person who gets those kind of opportunities. I couldn't be any more thankful for this. And no matter how many minutes I spent ranting about the hardships of what this exchange has already brought to me and what I'm sure it's going to bring, there's no place I'd rather be. I'm happy right here. Everything is going to be so different, but that's because I will be different. I'll have a different perception of things. I'll be able to appreciate things more. And I'll just be a better person. That's all I've got to say today. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe with whatever you think about this video. And I will talk to you guys next time. Okay, bye.